This week on Top Travel, Janez is en route to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro via the scenic Makame route with the help of his porters and guides. Despite a struggle with altitude sickness, dropping temperatures and grueling conditions, he makes it past 2 base camps and above the clouds, where the view of the glacier has to be seen to be believed.
Climbs are generally done between 7 and 11 days. We're doing it in 6 days. The challenge is on. Yes, our assistant guide is what I can describe as a lean, mean walking machine. He's a very reserved, very quiet guy until he stumbles upon something that interests him. Now, he is a walking encyclopedia when it comes to anything that's fauna and flora.
Oh, this is the Patience Kilimanjaro, and we have 3 types of this. The first one is Patience dictata, second one is Patience passolaviola, and this is the Patience Kilimanjaro, which is endemic. But the Patience passolaviola and the Patience dictata is not endemic. You can get anywhere. But this only one you can get here, Kilimanjaro.
So it must be very special to you guys.
Really special.
It's beautiful. About 50% of all climbers who attempt Mount Kilimanjaro go the Moshi route because although it's very steep, it has the most impressive views and also a variety of habitats. Almost every kind of ecological system is found on the mountain, starting with cultivated land, rainforest, heath, alpine desert, and the Arctic summit. For all of you guys back home who go to the gym, sit in front of a mirror, lift weights, grow your guns in your chest, and think you're real men, you may be men, but this is a real man right over here. The guy's carrying about, looks like 35 kgs to me, up Kilimanjaro, which is nearly 6,000 meters high. I need to try and prove that I'm also a real man. Guys, grab that quickly. Sorry, can I help you? Can I try help you? Oh, God, this is ridiculous. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? Hey? I think these guys are laughing at me. Everything that we take with us for 6 days, all our water, all our food, all our clothing, all of our belongings are carried by the porters. These porters or Sherpas carry these bags at 2 to 3 times the pace that we are walking up Kilimanjaro. They're superhumans. I don't know how these guys do this. Really, this is ridiculous. It's not even a backpack. It's just a heavy bag that you carry on your head with no grips. Crazy. You have to feel what these guys are carrying to believe it. Because you would never believe that humans could possibly carry so much weight on their backs and on their heads. It literally drove my legs into the floor. It felt impossible for me. I can't anymore. Sorry, brother. I helped you for 25 meters. I wish I could do more.
Thank you very much.
Already on day 1, you could see the environment change from tropical rainforest to more of a heath, moorland type of landscape. We've made it through the first day.
Yes,
well
sir.
done. Thank you for leading us all the way.
Super duper man.
So let's check this out. We're at 3,000 meters. I guess you can feel that.
Yes.
Started off in that tropical weather, very humid. It's slightly colder up here. Mist coming through, and you can see the vegetation's changed. Where are we here? In the moorland area?
Moorland, from the rainforest. Now we are on the moorland now.
I think the key was to take it slowly, step by step, pole pole.
Your spirit was nice.
Huh?
That's why we are here now.
Should we go check out the camp?
Yeah. No problem, man. Super duper and digala man.
The first day's climbing is definitely not for the faint-hearted. It's a tough climb. You're climbing 1,200 meters. And when you reach, 3,000 meters, which is where you camp, the air's a lot thinner, it gets a bit chillier, and it's also the first time you realize what your sleeping arrangements are. It's tempting. Can I also have a cup of coffee?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks, brother. This is the perfect way to end the day. The legs are feeling a bit like jelly. We got popcorn, biscuits, teas, coffees. It's all happening. Wimpy over here, my good friend in DOP, is chilling for once. Usually he's the guy doing the shooting. Now we've got David, our Sandy, doing the work. But yeah, just another day in Africa, climbing Kilimanjaro. Did you know the oldest person to summit Mount Kilimanjaro is an 87-year-old Frenchman? His name was Volti Daniel. Also in September 2010, a Spanish mountain runner called Kilimanjaro climbed the mountain in 5 hours, 24 minutes. The guy was only 22 years old.
Morning.
Morning, how's it?
Yeah. Ocean water.
Thank you.
Okay. Ocean water.
Thank you very much.
Soap.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wow, Jeannie's going to be very proud of me. My first Portuguese shower. Thank you.
Okay.
That's the way you're going to clean yourself for the next 7 days. Yep. How does one use one little bowl to clean your whole body and brush your teeth? It's a challenge. It's a big challenge, but we did it. Last night I was feeling so strong. Went to bed at about 9 o'clock. Thought we've got a big day ahead of us tomorrow, so I better get some good sleep. And then I took these anti-altitude tablets. I took half a tablet, which I thought will help me prevent getting sick. The problem is, one of the side effects is it makes you go to the loo. So I got up 3 times to go to the loo in the middle of the night. And then I expended so much energy putting my boots on. It was raining outside. And as I got outside, I started feeling quite nauseous, and that happened 3 times. So I started freaking out. So I've been reading up this morning, and I've got so many unanswered questions. Do I increase the dose? Do I stop it altogether? What do I do? I think I've come to the conclusion I started with half a tablet. I'm going to increase it to 1 tablet and see how it goes, but it's probably not a good sign. We're only at 3,000 meters and I'm already feeling a little bit iffy. Anyway, we soldier on. Approximately 25,000 people attempt to climb Mount Kilimanjaro every single year. Now there's variations in how many make it. Some sources say that 2/3 make it up, others say that only 41% make it to the top. What we do know is that the most common reason for them to turn around is altitude sickness. Hello, Gotti. I've got the long pants on today. It looks a little cloudy and cold.
Yes.
What can we expect from today's climb?
Today is a little bit shorter, but really steeper. We can't compare like yesterday. Yesterday it was longer, 11 kilometers, but a little bit flat. But today, 6 kilometers, but steeper. So you have to go slow. You can't go like yesterday, because yesterday it was really fast time. But
I was faster. I'll slow down. I'm gonna be at the back today. So we're starting at 3,000 meters. Where are we ending?
We go to 3,600, but before there, we have to go to 3,950, and then back down to 3,600 to the camp.
That's the key when you're climbing Kilimanjaro. You first got to climb up,
Yep.
then stay there for 15 minutes, and then you rest lower down.
Yes, sir.
Let's do this.
Super duper.
Super duper.
And digala man.
Digala.
Hakuna matata man.
Stay tuned. Janez makes his way to second base camp, where the team's mood becomes festive. Then, on day 3, they enter the chilly alpine desert.
Climbing the roof of Africa, and they call it the roof of Africa for a reason. It's very high. But it's also not only physically demanding, but mentally demanding. Because you're constantly climbing high to acclimatize and then sleeping low. And you know this before you set out on the day, and that's what gets to you. It's not easy. You can see the climb's getting a lot tougher. It's a pity there's clouds here, because on a clear day, apparently you can see all the way down into town. Oh, I'd like to say more to you guys, but I'm out of breath. It's all about pole pole, shuffle shuffle. As you get higher, the air gets thinner, and you start breathing a lot heavier. And trust me, that feeling of having no air, you're just going step by step by step, is terrifying. When you're climbing Kili, it's vitally important that you're always snacking, eating food. Even when you start feeling nauseous, you've got to keep pumping energy into your body. Protein bars, oats bars, chocolates, anything that you can put inside yourself is good. And also continually hydrate, lots of water, energy drinks. There's one thing I warned my cameraman against, and he broke the rules. What happened?
I had those power gels that you find on those small capsules. I was perfectly fine until now, so I thought all sportsmen does it, so I thought, let's do it. I don't feel great now. My heart's just pounding. I can feel a little bit nauseous, but I'll be okay.
He freaked out. He started shaking, he had that caffeine buzz, that high, he was feeling wired, and then on top of the fact that he was wired, he couldn't breathe. So it's that horrible, you know that feeling when you've had too much coffee, you've had 3 or 4 cups of coffee in a row, and now you're feeling slightly anxious, and on top of that, the air's so thin that you can't get oxygen? That's what happened to him. Ah, yes, finally, the camp. That is amazing. End of day 2 in the pocket. Tough day in the office. Started at 3,000 meters. Our highest point was just back there, 3,950 meters. We're sleeping at 3,600, and you'll hear this 1,000 times when climbing Kili. It's all about walking high, sleeping low. We sat up there for about 20 minutes, just climatized, got used to the altitude, and now we're gonna have a good night's rest, a nice lunch, and well deserved, I believe. And by the way, our cameraman's feeling better. Day 1 and day 2 was all about observing what was close at hand, because the bigger picture we couldn't see. I couldn't place myself. I didn't even know where Kilimanjaro was. I didn't know where the peaks were because everything was shrouded in mist. I'd like to introduce all of you to the Shira camp. If you'll just have a look at the basic structure here, it's very minimalistic. I like the symmetry, very modern. Less is more, a bit like Le Corbusier. We've got our 3-chair setup with our little table. In the mornings when we arrive here, it's fantastic because we've got reception on the left, we've got concierge on the right, and then at night it's just beautiful when supper is served. It really is very elegant. I want to just introduce you to the rest of the camp. You'll see we've had a fantastic landscape architect working on this. Again, it's all about position. Hello there. That's my it's my Danish neighbor. He's a little bit wealthier than me, so he's got the better position, slightly higher up, better views over the escarpment below. The tents are something very special, almost like an igloo. What's very effective here is they've maximized space. If you look inside, you can see the storage facility for all the bags and the clothing. We've got a very nice beds and mattresses with also storage for the shoes right at the back. But again, optimizing, maximizing space, which is brilliant. Very key to coming to the Kilimanjaro is the golden throne. This is what it's all about. Now, for a little bit of extra money, I suggest that anyone coming here invests in this, because otherwise what you're going to be doing is using public toilets, and I can tell you, I've entered them. They're usually very far away from the camp. They reek horribly, and they're infested with flies. So without this baby, I wouldn't be a happy man. The porters, my superhuman porters who are lifesavers, not only carry everything for you, but they also lift your spirit. You know, you crave for someone to just lift your spirit levels when you reach the end of a climb because you're drained. And these porters have been walking all day, carrying all your stuff all day, but they've still got the energy to sing and dance for you. Having these guys sing traditional Kilimanjaro songs while you're on Kilimanjaro, it's special. There are so many myths and legends surrounding the great Kilimanjaro. You know, was there a god at the top of the mountain? Were people giving sacrifices to this god near the bottom of the mountain? Where does the name Kilimanjaro even come from?
Coming from a Chaga tribe. And long time ago, the people when they climbing Kilimanjaro, they said we go to climbing Kipo. Kipo means mountain. And people from town, from the villages, when they saw the snow, they say that is Njaro, means shining mountain.
Woke up this morning, it was freezing cold, then it got super hot when the sun started shining, now the clouds are coming in. It's so important to layer, you know, thermals, layers on top of that. You can take stuff on and off, carry beanies on you. But for now, I need a warm jacket to continue. Oof. Day 3 is a crazy day because you're climbing so many meters and immediately you can notice that the environment has changed completely. I was walking through going pole, step at a time, thinking, if I was here all on my own, how would I know where to go? You feel like this is the kind of place that could engulf you completely. You wouldn't survive out there. Wow, the air is really thin up here. You can see the vegetation has changed completely from earlier. We're now in our 4th climate zone. It's called the Alpine Desert. It starts at about 4,000 odd meters. It almost feels like we're walking on the moon. Now, I have to apologize, we don't have the best views because this cold mist and clouds have been following us throughout our trip. What's our altitude up here now?
Yeah, it's about 4,200.
4,200 meters. That explains why I'm starting to get this brain freeze, lightheadedness, headache in the front here at my temples. You can see all the way along the path, they've built these beacons. And I thought it was to show people the way to the top, but it's actually travelers like myself, hikers, that have built them to give them good luck along the way so they can reach the summit. Right now, I need all the luck I can get. People build on top of these huge boulders that look like boulders on the moon. People take smaller loose rocks and they build their own towers. And all the way along the climb, from beginning to end, you see people's own personal beacons of hope. Those beacons in itself give you complete inspiration to carry on. In fact, I built my very own beacon because I needed that hope to make it to the top.
When we return, Janez feels the chill as hiking turns into climbing up the Great Eastern Wall to where the views are simply spectacular.
We finally reached the lava tower, which you can vaguely see on my left. Unfortunately, the mist is still following us. I have to tell you, it is bitterly cold up here. You can see my hands are turning purple. Both my DOP and myself forgot our gloves, which was a horrible mistake. You can see they're red and purple and shaky. I must just tell you, it gets difficult to do stuff at this altitude. We're at 4,600 meters. Just to haul the camera out, the metal of the camera is cold, condensation is affecting the camera. The air is so thin up here that every time you do something you expend so much energy, but it is an important place to be because if you're serious about summiting Kilimanjaro, you have to acclimatize here. Just to put in perspective, we're at 4,600 meters. We're going to spend an hour here, just sit through the cold, but we're going to have to do it because we're going to sleep 800 meters below this. Whew, look at the snow. When we reached Lava Tower, which is at 4,600 meters, that's the first time that all of us were like, we're high. Just like a normal breath, taking in a normal breath is so difficult. You literally just sit there and slow things down and you try and take in as much air as possible and let it out because the air is so thin up there. Lava Tower was also the first place where we encountered ice and snow. So now you start preparing yourself for cold times ahead. From Lava Tower, which is one of the highest points you'll reach before you summit at 4,600 meters, now all your hard work is being undone because now you're going to go all the way down those valleys and rivers until you get to base camp, which will be at 3,900 or 3,800 meters above sea level. If trees are going to survive in alpine desert, they're going to do it properly. In the middle of this valley, we come across a whole plantation of these beautiful looking trees. They almost look prehistoric. Gotti, what are these prehistoric looking plants? Because I see them scattered everywhere across the mountain.
This tree we call senecio or senecia. We can find it on the mountain from the 3,000 meters up maybe to 5,000. And then they like to living on a place which you have water or near to the river. You can find it this.
And how old do they get?
They living for 300 years, but now this look like maybe 209, 208. But when it will be 300, total must be fell down, dry, and gone. And then when we see here also, we have another flower we call lobelia. It's living on the mountain also for this height. And then on side of that lobelia, we have small flowers.
I'm feeling great. I've hardly had any signs of altitude sickness. I'm taking my medication. I'm drinking lots of water. I've been eating a lot of food. That's one of the big tips for me, is eat, 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 and eat. Yes, man. Amazing. Long day for the legs. Finally, home sweet home. The scary thing about Barranco Camp is that the next morning you can see where you're going to climb. Right in front of you is the eastern wall, and it literally looks like a high wall that you have to climb. And high above you is a spectacular view of the Heim Glacier. Morning, guys. What a great night's sleep. Very important because tomorrow is summit night. Oh my gosh. That is incredible. That is the first time we've seen Kili since starting this adventure. That view makes it all worth a while. The moment you hit that eastern wall after Barranco Camp, it's not stairs anymore. It's proper climbing. You're using both your feet and both your arms. And it's not easy. There's some places where if things go wrong, you could end up in the valley below. So you've got to be very careful. That was the point of the climb where I realized, okay, Machami route is not for beginners. You need some experience in climbing to be able to accomplish this.
Just here, brother. Here is the hugging stone. You have to hug rock like this and to pass.
The hugging stone? Yeah. Otherwise you fall off the mountain. After quite a tiring climb up the Great Eastern Wall, you get to a point where you have the most majestic viewpoint of the great mountain behind you, and in front of you there's just cloud. It was spectacular.
Oh, Janez, look at the beautiful glaciers there.
That is amazing. Is that where we're going to be summiting?
Yes, but the other side, you cannot see from here.
Gotti, I remember seeing pictures of this great mountain where the entire top was covered by snow.
Yeah, it was really covered by snow. 20 years ago, it was really covered. Even here, you can't see the black stone like this. All place it was white. Even when you're climbing here, sometimes you use map to know where we go. But now you can see the way, you can see the road, so it's easier now. But as you see the Hem Glacier there, the very thin, but before it was really bigger, and part of the Hem Glacier also. You can't see the part of stone and glaciers. It was all full of glaciers. But now, because of global warming, it looks like that.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible and very bad.
Horrible.
Yeah.
It really is a depressing thought that in 10 or 20 years' time, if or when I ever climb this mountain again with my son, there'll probably be no snow left up there or no glaciers left.
Next week on Top Travel, Janez conquers Kilimanjaro, making an emotional summit that he shares thanks to a surprisingly good signal. We check in with Jeannie, who's living it up in Zanzibar and exploring its streets on a scooter.